So it's a complete accident that I made myself a cup of tea in one of Tom and Giovanna's very lovely Disney mugs, and this one just happened to be Pinocchio. Today's word is conscience, and in Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket is essentially Pinocchio's conscience, and he sings the song, always let your conscience be your guide. So this is kind of fate. I'm gonna say it, guys. It's destiny that I picked this mug today. Before I get into the main Made Myself and I part of the video, I am just gonna have a little chat with you guys about what the last week has entailed for me. It's been an incredible week. If you've been watching the last few videos or following me on social media, you will know that I've been part of a workshop. And I think I explained in the first video of Made Myself and I that a workshop is when someone has written a musical and they hire actors and cast them all in the roles, and then they read through the script and learn all the songs to figure out what works and what doesn't, and to see whether the musical has a future life. I think I'm now allowed to say that the workshop was Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella, and I was cast as Cinderella, and it was really cool, and I had a wonderful week. I was working back at the other palace. There were some other lovely friends of mine in the cast, including Oliver, so I just had a great week being a badass princess and working with a bunch of wonderful people and getting to go into work every day and being like, hi, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Prior to this workshop, I had never really worked with Andrew Lloyd Webber before. He was part of the production team of Heathers, and obviously the other palace belongs to him. So I met him whilst on Heathers, but obviously it's not one of his musicals that he's written, so he was around every now and again, but I didn't get to work with him. But this week I got to work closely with him, and it was really cool. It was really cool. He's the nicest. So that was my week. This is the reason I've got a little bit behind on the Made Myself and I videos. I apologise profusely, but obviously my job comes first, and that had to take priority, and we were working 10 till 10 most of last week, so there was literally just no time for me to sit and have a chat to the camera. So I know you guys understand. I know I don't really need to explain, but it's always just nice for transparency and context, I guess. I don't think I'm gonna post 2 videos in one day to catch up. I think what I'm gonna do is just post past the end of May. So we're just gonna pick up where we left off, and today's word is conscience. I think I have a very big conscience. I don't know if that's a thing, that's just how it feels to me. I feel like I have a very big conscience, or a very loud voice in my head that tells me when something is right or wrong, and things weigh very heavily on my conscience when I feel like I've done something bad, or I've upset someone, or I did something and then didn't think about the repercussions that it would have, and it's all gone a little bit messy. For those of you that aren't very familiar with what a conscience is, although I'm sure most of you will be, but just for clarification, a conscience is that voice in your head that guides you towards doing the right thing and guides you away from doing the wrong thing. Like I said, Jiminy Cricket is like the perfect example of a conscience, because he is very much the person who tries to guide Pinocchio towards always doing the right thing. And I think the voice in my head has always been very, very loud. I am one of these people who will lay awake at night remembering things that I did 12 years ago that still are sat in my soul somewhere, like a paperweight, just sort of like dragging down my sanity, and it will be because I said something awful to someone once, or I said something without thinking and then came away and realised, oh man, that was absolutely the wrong thing to say at completely the wrong time, and I must have made them feel so bad or so stupid or whatever. And I feel like the bigger your conscience is, the harder it is to let go of those moments when you did do the wrong thing and you did put your foot in it or put your foot in your mouth. Even when I was a kid, like, getting in trouble was the worst thing in the world. Oh my god, having a teacher tell me off. I used to be like paralysed with fear about getting into trouble. I think I've said this before, but I remember when I was a teenager, I must have been like 15, and I forgot my geography exercise book, and I was due to hand in homework, And I just convinced myself that I was going to get into so much trouble. The voice in my head like piped up and was like, you've done the wrong thing, you've done the wrong thing, abort, abort, abort. And I remember going up to my geography teacher. What was his name? I can't remember his name. Mr. O'Connor. Oh my God, Mr. O'Connor. That is weird that I still remember that, because that's literally 11 years ago. I remember going up to Mr. O'Connor in floods of tears before I'd even spoken to him, and he was like, calm down, just give it to me tomorrow, it's fine, like, don't worry about it. It's a teacher's job to tell me off if I've forgotten something or not handed in my homework on time or done something bad. I didn't even give my teacher the chance to tell me off. I did it for myself. But I feel like I'm much less of an anxious person now, which is unbelievable because I'm still a massively anxious person now. So you can't even imagine what I was like when I was a teenager, and I used to just cry at the drop of a hat because I was so terrified that I was going to get into trouble or I'd upset someone or all that jazz. And I have much more confidence to just be able to rectify those mistakes and to go up to someone and say, look, I think I said something stupid earlier and I'm really sorry if that upset you, because that's not what I intended to do, and you know, what can I do to make it up to you, or how can I fix it, type thing. I'm able just to deal with whatever the consequences are going to be. I'm able just to be like, well, what's done is done, and I just need to deal with the consequences now because it's my own doing. And I think I'm also better at not getting angry at myself for things that aren't my fault. Like, I used to worry so much about, oh, I'm late. This is why I'm early for everything. If I was late for something, through something that was absolutely no fault of my own, like, you know, a tube train broke down, or, you know, there was way more traffic than anticipated because there'd been an accident on the road or something, I used to not only get angry at myself, but I'd also let other people get angry at me for that. And instead of being like, look, it couldn't be helped, it wasn't my fault, I left in plenty of time, something unforeseen happened that made me late, and you know, I don't think you can really be angry about that. All in all, I've managed to shrink my conscience down a little bit from when I was a child, because not only was it making sure I always did the right thing and never did the wrong thing, it was also like completely incapacitating me when I did do something wrong, and it had never let me forget it. The voices in our heads can sometimes be really mean. I think I need to start thinking of the voice in my head as Jiminy Cricket, because I love him and he's cute. He'd never tell me off. I'll see you tomorrow.